Hi and welcome. My name is Chris from Bukit Vista. So this is the video tutorial on how to create a WhatsApp chat group with our guests. So basically we create a WhatsApp chat group with our guests and hosts to make them stay connected. So make the guests stay connected with us. So that every time they have questions or they need assistance during their stay or even before they arrive, we can provide a assistance to them. So, all right, in order to create the WhatsApp chat group, we have to have three things in hand ready. First is the arrival list, which is the app that we have in-house to see who is coming in which area, in which property, and also who are the hosts who will be, welcoming them and stay in touch with them during their stay. And then the second is your online support phone, or we call it air support phone, that's for sure. And third is to have your friends ready on your laptop. So Friends is basically the app that allows you to use WhatsApp on your desktop instead of doing all that messaging texts on your phone. Okay, so let's go through one by one of what are those things that you need to set up the WhatsApp chat group. So first, as I mentioned earlier, is that you will need a rev list on hand. So here we have our Bukit Vista dashboard, which contains our in-house guests, our arrival guests, and our checkout guests. Okay, so this is how it looks like for today's check-ins. So in total, for example, today we have 64 check-ins in all of the areas under Bukit Vista management. Let's say, for example, we want to create a WhatsApp chat group for guests who will be arriving in the next 2 days, which is April 20th. So let's see, when you choose the date on April 20th, we will see that we will have, okay, all data loaded. So we will have 49 bookings as of today, as of this time when the video is recorded. So we have 49 check-ins to be expected on April 20th. All right, so here are all the areas that is under Bukit Vista management, and for the areas that we manage, we basically divide those areas into squads. So each squad have responsible to attend the guest requests or attend the guest arrivals and check-ins, and keep in touch with them while they are in-house within their own squad. So each squad have their own areas of responsibility. So I give you a hint that currently we have 4 active squads. Squad 1, Squad 2, Squad 3, and Squad 4. And what are those squad responsible to? I'll write down here, so later after you finish watching the videos and you would like to recall some of the information, so you can find it here too as well. So the squads responsibility areas. We have squad 1, which responsible for Balangan, Bingi, Jimbaran, Ungasan, and Nusa Dua. Well, squad 2 responsible for Uluwatu, Padang-Padang, Canggu, and Ubud as of the moment. Squad 3 responsible exclusively for Jogja area, and Squad 4 is also exclusively responsible for Nusa Penida Island area. Okay, so those are the squad's responsibilities, so that you know when you are about to create a WhatsApp chat group for Squad 1, for example. So you will only create a chat group with guests who will be arriving on either Balangan area or Bingin or Jimbaran or Ungasan or Nusa Dua. Okay, so I hope it is clear as of now, and let's move on. So when you see all of these bars containing of the areas, Yogyakarta, there are 8 check-ins, Uluwatu, there are 10 check-ins, and so on and so forth. So if you'd like to know more details, you can just simply click the bar, and the details of the basic details of the guest arrival will show up. So okay, let me explain a little bit one by one. So unit name is the name of the property that the guest will be checking in. So these are the name of the guest houses or the name of the villas that the guest will be checking in. So for example, in Bingin, there's 7 check-ins, which the guests will arrive in the guest house, Villa Shanti, Kemang Kuning guest house, and so on and so forth. Okay, and those are the guests. On the right side, you can see the guest name. So those guests will be checking in on those properties respectfully, and also the check-in and check-out informations. And also this one we have profile. What is the profile? So profile, this shows you the Airbnb profile where the guests make the booking. Here in Bukit Vista, we have currently 13 Airbnb profiles. So to make the connection of all of this information, let's pick up one example. So this, for example, this the first guest, Andrea Ayala, is our guest who will be checking in on Tegas Asri guest house. They will arrive on April 20th and checking out on April 21st. And they made the booking under Bastian and Wayana profile. Okay, ETA, expected time of arrivals, is still empty. That's also the thing that we have to find out later on. And this is the host. As I mentioned earlier, that every squad have responsible areas, and every squad have a team member, which are host and online reservation. Online support. So host is the one who are responsible to meet the guest physically. So they welcoming the guest, they available in the area when the guests need something within their stay or when they are checking out, and so on and so forth. So basically, hosts are the representative of Bukit Vista in front of the guests, and we are here as air support or online guest relations, are at the back office. So we make sure that the host have help when they are on the field, because most of the times they are on the road or they are meeting guests, so they are not checking their handphones quite frequently. So we are the one who provide a backup for them if the guests have questions or the guests want to meet them. So we make the appointment. That's that. And the communication channel is the one that we also have to update. There are some WhatsApp channel is one of the communication channel. Airbnb message is the other channel. So we'll go through this in more details later on. And status. Okay, the default status of all upcoming arrival guests are not checked in. So after after the guests arrive, the host usually give you update like, hey, this guest already checked in, this guest already checked in. So it is also our responsibility to change the status of each check-in guests. And then we have notes and we have details. In this details button is the area that we can that we can update the status of each guest. All right, so that is a little bit about the Bukit Vista dashboard, which in our company in Bukit Vista we call it Internally, we call it BVARR or BV arrival. All right, so that's that. Okay, so that's pretty much the thing about the arrival list, so that we understand who will be checking in which area, and who are the hosts who will be attending their check-ins and attending their concerns when they stay. And then the next thing that I want to say is that what to understand. There are some terms that I will use a lot in this video, and you will also hear a lot when you are here. People will talk about some terms. So I also want to make sure that you are quite familiar with this term. One of it is text expander. What is text expander? Text expander is a tool that allows you to not to always write long sentences or long phrase multiple times. And if you think that there is one thing that you have to write over and over again to different guests or different people within or outside the company, you can create a text expander. So you just punch in one time all of that long text, and you create a little snippet, or you create a little shortcut for that. So when you type the shortcut, the entire line will be open up. So that's the text expander, and it is very helpful so that you are not writing long what is called long statement or long sentences over and over again, especially if it is something that you have to repeatedly write to different guests or to different people. And okay, and then the second that you have to understand is the role of the air support and the host. As I mentioned earlier, the host is the one who meet the guest physically, and air support, we call it here air support, which is basically the online guest relations, is here at the back office to make sure everything are well connected in online world. So okay, that's the a little bit introductions of the thing before we move to really create the WhatsApp group. So let's move on to the second part, the most exciting part, which is to create the WhatsApp group.